and welcome back to my channel. The weather in Chattanooga here has actually been pretty nice, and so this is my first time back in the gym in about 10 days. There is a new center slab set that I'll be climbing through today, and I'll also talk about balancing climbing in the gym with your outdoor climbing objectives as I go through my warm-up. You may have noticed that the last couple of sessions that I've done in the gym here have been on the slab sets, and I actually was having this discussion with my climbing partner yesterday about how do you balance the gym, what you do in the gym, when you're also climbing outside a lot, where you're trying to prioritize your outdoor climbing. Currently, I've made the switch to fully prioritizing outdoor sport climbing, and I was actually out sport climbing yesterday as well as a couple days before. And so when I'm choosing what to do in the gym, I personally try to offset what I'm doing outside rather than doubling down on the same thing. And that means both physically and mentally, or technically. The climbing that I did yesterday was at a crag called the Concave down in Alabama, which is really steep, powerful, bouldery style sport climbing. And clearly you can see that today getting on the slab, that's exactly the opposite. So like I said, kind of offsetting it physically. For me personally, my body can't handle a lot of volume and short recovery between really powerful, hard style climbing. And so using the slab sets is a really nice way for me to keep climbing and moving without necessarily adding that extra stress to my body. From a mental / skills aspect, what I'm moving towards in my sport climbing is more projecting based. So the climb I went to yesterday, and maybe I'll do a vlog in and of itself with it, but the climb I was on yesterday was something I started trying 2 years ago. It's definitely a longer term project, and that involves different skills than trying to on-site or trying to flash boulders in the gym. And so I like to kind of exercise both parts of my brain. I like to think about when we're practicing our skills, there's a spectrum of kinds of climbs we can get on. On one side of the spectrum is on-site climbing. So these are climbs that you've never been on before, that you've never seen anyone on before. And then on the complete opposite side of the spectrum would be projecting, especially climbs that you've tried for a long period of time. So a climb that you've projected for 12 sessions is going to involve a totally different skill set than a climb that you've never touched before. Both are important for developing as a climber, and both have their appropriate time and place to use. On-siting is going to really test your skills of decision making, of getting creative, of finding solutions, whereas long-term projecting, you've already found your beta, you've dialed it in, and it moves towards more of like a rehearsal. You're rehearsing moves, or you're trying to execute moves that you're already familiar with, and so it uses different parts of your brain really, and different skill sets. If you ever have long-term projected before, you may have noticed if that's the only climb you're climbing on, you get really good at that specific climb, but sometimes you have trouble climbing on anything else because your body and your skill set are so geared towards that singular climb. And so when I'm in a projecting mode outside, I want to make sure that I'm still kind of exercising that muscle of my brain that requires the decision making, the problem solving, the creativity. And so that's what I'm doing today in the gym on this slab set, is I'm really trying to kind of stimulate that part of my brain, because I know I'm not getting that outside right now. My plan for the day is climb through this new slab set, trying to flash as many of the climbs as I can, and then I'm going to do a workout that I actually give my clients that I call 3 ways, and I'll explain more about that as we get to that portion. So right now, just going through the new set, trying to flash as many climbs as I can, and I'll go up to the yellow tag level and try things a max of 3 to 5 times if I don't flash it, just because again, the goal is not to try things at my limit or to try really hard for me climbs. Okay, first falls of the day. I tried 2 different options there. One, I stayed more to the right and tried to go straight up from the half moon hold. And what I just tried was going out a little further left, getting my self set up a little bit wider. I think I'm going to go back to the first method because with that last method going out wide, the big blue hold was kind of in my way. It was in my chest and kind of pushing my hips out, which didn't feel super comfortable. So I'm going to rest a little bit and try again. Okay, that was my last allotted try on that green hold one. While my ego wants to keep trying it because I think I can do it, that's not the purpose of the session. So I'm going to move on to the next yellow tag. There's only one more, and then we'll move on to the 3 ways portion of the session. I have one more try left on this one, no biggie, one that I can come back and work on more of a skill boulder style day where I'll want to spend more time on each boulder. But for now, I'll try it one more time and then we'll move on to the 3 ways. The 3 ways exercise is all about doing a climb or a section of climb 3 different ways. This is a useful exercise because sometimes we tend to get sucked into one style of solutions or we really trend towards certain habits. And this way you can practice solving the same problem with a few different solutions. You're going to want to do this on a climb fairly well below your red point level, so 4 to 5 grades below. I'm going to be doing it on white tag level climbs, and like I said, this could be a singular move or this could be the entire climb. The style climb that you're going to want to do it on is ones that do allow for that flexibility, not necessarily one where the setter was trying to really force a certain movement. There was one climb on the new set that I think I'm going to try this exercise on, and then I'll look for some other boulders around the gym. I recommend doing this on 2 to 3 different climbs. This climb is definitely a great candidate for this exercise, and that's for a couple reasons. One is that all of these holds, they're bigger holds, they have multiple surfaces that you can use, and so you can use them in different ways. For example, that initial right hand I went to, the first time I did it, I stayed low, and then I ended up heel hooking that hold. The second time I ended up using the left surface of it as a press. And this third time, I'm trying to use it only as a foot. Lots of different opportunities to use the holds in different ways makes a really good candidate for a climb. If there's not a lot of surface area on the holds and there's really only one way to grab them, that'll make it more difficult to do this exercise. That's one boulder done 3 different ways. I'm going to go around and look for another one. It can definitely be a little tricky and take some trial and error to be able to find the right types of climbs for this. So be patient with it. It might take trying more than a couple boulders to find one that's a good candidate.
did get a little silly there, but it was definitely really fun, which is another goal of this exercise, is to play a little bit. Like I said, creativity. It should be fun. There's an element of that to it. And then after you're done with doing each of your climbs 3 different ways, you can take a look back and think about what maybe surprised you. For example, on that first blue climb on the slab, the first way I did it actually wasn't the easiest way. The easiest way ended up being the second way I did it. And so thinking about, okay, why did I opt to stay low and use a heel hook? And what about the second way was more efficient? I do want to say that each of your 3 ways does not have to be some super crazy movement. You can just change things slightly each time, especially if you're new to it. For example, on the last section of this climb, I just changed the hand sequence a little bit and used a slightly different foot. So small, subtle changes are fine too. So give this a try. Let me know how you like it. Thanks for watching, and make sure to like and subscribe if you're enjoying my content. Last time I was here in the gym, I gave you all a challenge to guess which of these slab boulders that I set, and the answer is this blue hold yellow tag. I know that might surprise you because I actually wasn't able to reach the final hold until Davis made some tweaks. And the explanation for that is that I didn't actually forerun after we set the night before after stripping the wall, and then they continued with their setting day the next day. So wasn't quite able to do my own boulder in its first form, but able to do it now.